Good morning, good day. This is the second video on my account. I have a few that I've recorded, but every day I have a new idea, and I'm hoping to make sure I complete at least one video a day and get out some things that I think about. And today I thought about I thought about a lot of things because of the things that I see on my Instagram. And it's interesting. I see a lot of positive stuff. A lot of people graduating and, sharing that moment with their family. For instance, I saw um, this young man who removed his robe and all the extra things that he has on his shoulders, and he placed it onto his mother because she never got to graduate. And this is something that's beautiful. I saw another video of a son who um, came whilst everyone was praying at this family cookout, and he had been released that day from prison, and it was a surprise, and it's just beautiful to see that a lot of people they're touched in many ways by moments that are just beautiful. And I've really been thinking about purpose and drive and all these sorts of things. And um, for me, these videos they touch me in a different way emotionally, and they make me think a lot about how, if I was in those positions, how I would react. And I know I would react in the same way. I'll be crying. I'll be feeling emotions of love, appreciation, and thankfulness. And I really do believe we need to find we need to find ways to be good people. I think this is the part that is a little bit tricky, because being good can mean many things in many different forms. But I mean truly being good. I don't mean that in the performative sense. I don't mean that in the sense of getting validation and garnering appreciation from other people. I mean to be good. Just because I've been really thinking a lot about the things that people always see, the bad things online, women, men, everyone's doing something to one another, messing up, each other's lives in many different ways. You know, I've been really thinking about, you know, purpose. What really is. I'm speaking from my perspective as a man. What is a man's purpose truly? And I think that before it was pretty straightforward, right? You go, and I mean hundreds of years ago, you took care of your family, you know, you fought in wars, um, you risked your life to survive. There's many things that drove men of the past and pushed them every single day. And now we're in a completely different position. I mean, for the most part, most of the globe is in peace. I'm using air quotes because what really is peace, it's definitely quantifiable, but I have my own viewpoints over the fact that I don't really think peace is possible in the whole world. So only a few parts of the world will have that, the idea of what we think peace is, where you don't have to perpetually be in fear, right? You know, you can go and find food, you have shelter, um, you know, you have many different privileges, you know, whether that's the education that you receive, whether that's the stable income that you receive as well, um, you know, the medical advancements that your nation may have. So, in terms of that, I think Canada, America, European nations, um, Asian nations, some of them, yeah, they have that idea of peace. But I feel like because of the fact that everything has become so, you know, relaxed, and I mean that in a normal way. Like, it's not crazy. Like, I'm African. Viewing some parts of Africa that have, I mean, all the time something is happening that is detrimental to um, groupings in that nation, whether that be through wars, whether that be through famine, whether that be through poverty, right? And so the privileges that we have here, they kind of numb us. That was a beautiful truck. It had a it had a Wakanda Black Panther. Wow, that was actually really sick. It looks like a brush. I don't know what is it called. Spray paint. Someone spray painted it. It looks nice, man. It was him in the ancestral plane, if anyone remembers that scene. But I think that's what I've been kind of griping, kind of I've been thinking about recently. You know, purpose. Like in this part of the world where we have all these amenities and safety, and you know, you do lose a part of yourself, I think. Now, I'm not saying all of a sudden do we need to have, you know, that perpetual state of fear in in our lives to be able to motivate us to become, you know, more and to do more. No, I mean that because of the fact that there's not as much happening to us, that now we have been dulled, you know, naturally to be, I don't know, docile. I don't know. I don't know. I'm coming from a very like different way of thinking here because I've been seeing a lot of different things. I've been reading, I've been noticing a lot of different things. I really think that the world needs leaders. I mean, people that we can look to and be motivated to emulate parts of that person. Now, obviously, not everyone is perfect. There's not one singular person that's perfect. But I think that, you know, in especially in my community, for instance, you know, many fathers are not there, um, whether they be absent, um, estranged. Many different things could be the case. But what I do know is that, you know, a lot of our young men, we grow up without purpose because we are not being given that shoulder to lean on. Obviously, our mothers have to play that role forcibly. They have no choice. But there's a connection that a son has to a father that is like no other. And I never had that experience, but I can see it. You know, there's certain things that you can understand without actually experiencing. Well, that's the beauty of the mind, right? Like you can be able to conceptualize things that you have no real skin in the game to understand fully, but you can see it. And when you see it, you can feel it. And when you feel it, you really understand it. So when I say that we don't have the purpose, I really do mean it in the most respectful way possible. Because you know, to be steadfast, to be upright, to do the right things, to be good, just being good, you know, taking care of the responsibilities that you may have, whether that be through school, work, you know, in your relationships with family, with your significant others. I think that these things are very, even strangers, man, I think that these things are very important. And we need to be hearing this more often because many of the things that we are being shown consistently every day are, I'm not gonna lie, it's complete rubbish. The stuff that you'll be seeing on social media, especially because these algorithms are very interesting. they do persist in showcasing shock value consistently, because it is being circulated through the entire Instagram database. So once it's being pushed to a certain type of viewer, it's being pushed to many more viewers, and then from there it compounds. And so, yeah, curation of a good, quote unquote, good algorithm is very essential to making sure that your mind is viewing the necessary things that give you that feeling within you to push forward and be better, right? Day by day, day by day, day by day. Because it is a long, strenuous life for many people, you know, and the usage of social media definitely does dull the mind, because you're consuming things thoughtlessly. You're not thinking when you're really scrolling. Now, if you do curate an algorithm, and you may be spending 20 to 30 minutes a day on it, and you do it intentionally, that's different, because you know why you're doing what you're doing. And yeah, I think trying to tie all this back is, I really do believe that we must be purposeful. And I'm really speaking to the men here. I really do believe we need to be good people, man. We really have to be steadfast. We have to do the right things, because that's really the most important and impressive feat. Anyone can do bad. You know what I'm saying? Anyone can, um, they can be a drug dealer. Anyone can get into that type of lifestyle, make quick money. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's the right way to live your life. I really don't. I think if you stay on the straight and narrow, because that is such a great word, the straight and narrow. It is a narrow path. It's a difficult path, but once you understand the rhythm of it, right? Like boxing, right? When you watch a boxer bouncing, right? Understanding the rhythm of his opponent, you then enter that space of recognizing certain patterns, the shoulder movement, the twitch, right? You stare at his chest, and you see that little movement, you come in. So that's what I mean when I say that the rhythm of the straight and narrow, you must meet it. You must understand it. You must see it for what it is. It is a difficult path that not many are, willing to go through and walk on, because the path down degradation and degeneracy is wide and open to all. That's the whole point. It's so open. It's like a 18 lane highway. That's really what it is. But the straight and narrow is like, you know, those those guys who are on those, I don't know what that cord is. It's like a slack or something. Slack, not, I don't know. It's a very, very thin, it's a, very stretchy, fiber. I don't know how to describe it. But, it's stretchy. They balance on it, and they try and do different things. Um, there's a movie on it, actually, who it was based off of a real person. He was in New York. He had two lines connected to two skyscrapers. It was crazy, and he actually went through the whole thing, balancing with the bar. He threw the bar away. Man, I'm telling you, man, there's some people on this planet that are crazy as hell. But I really do think we need to be the right peoples in this time period, because it's very important to be the next, because we are the next generation, for the next generation to view. That, I think, is the most important part. That is what I really do see the world is. It is a mirror. It's, you view and you reflect. You view and you reflect. So when you are a good person and a child views those things, they will then see it and internalize these things, and in turn, they will then emulate that which they see. But if they see the bad, they see the angry, they see the things that are downright atrocious, and they will then in turn internalize it and then emulate it. So it's very important to be the right type of person in this world that is pushing, because again, I'm not saying this to say that the whole world is flawed. There are certain portions of the world, certain groupings of individuals who make sure to actually push certain types of things to kind of, um, produce currency for themselves, right? When you think of any of these websites that you go and view in private when you don't want anyone else to know what you're up to, those individuals who are the owners, minority stakeholders, shareholders, all these individuals, they know what they're doing. They know what they're they're putting their effort and their time into in order to create and curate a website that is so addictive that brings out the worst in a human being. And it brings out the worst because it's designed that way, right? We all know about how each social media platform has teams and teams of people, but I think now that they have kind of found the perfect, um, kind of system that they've curated in order to make sure that the algorithms are working at the best possible efficiency. And they have teams and teams of people who are psychologically, they are deeply aware of the psychological nature of human beings and the addictive nature, the addictive tendencies that we have within ourselves, and they bank off of that in order to actually, you know, exploit it in a sense. And this is all legal. You can do all this because they're technically not doing anything wrong, but they're morally doing something very interesting because they're giving you something that is equivalent to a drug, right? They're giving you something that is a drug, but you are the one who's choosing to actually take it. This is the part that really strikes me and lets me understand what world we're really in. And I understand it's a world of choices, but it's interesting to know where the choices are being produced and who is producing those choices. And this is what I mean. We need more people to actually be good people, to actually be the people that we can see and look to and be. And I don't mean this in a sense to deify someone, to be like, oh my goodness, they're flawless. No, that's not what I mean. We're all flawed individuals. But if you make sure that every day you at least do something right, you do good by somebody, whether that's your mother, whether that's your brother, your father, your sister, your uncle, your aunt, your grandfather, grandma, anybody in your life, even a stranger holding a door, saying good morning, yes sir, yes ma'am. These things are very important because we need to create that sort of society. And within that society, within those communities, within those enclaves, we have this culture that we're creating. And I really do believe it's possible because um, I've met many people who are amazing individuals. I mean, really, great people. And I always see the same things in their character. They do their very best to be good. You know, they do their very best to be good. And we need to be that too. You know, you now who is viewing this need to be good in any endeavor, in every situation you are in. Do not allow evil to creep into your heart, into your mind, and to dictate the way you will act and dictate the way you will operate. Um, you know, be relaxed, be patient, be calm, view things very carefully. Take your time making decisions. Don't jump to conclusions. There's many things in this world that are designed in a way to provoke the worst in us. And to be mindful of that is very important because, again, it's easy to do wrong. It's easy to do right as well. So I really do believe we need more peoples to actually be those um, examples within our view that we can physically see. Because man, there's many good people on this planet that we don't see doing good things. You know, anonymously donating massive amounts of money. to charities and to research centers anonymously, randomly. Well, in the morning at a food drive, someone has actually brought the entirety of the food that they would need, right? Anonymously drops it off 6 a.m. I'm not joking. There's people who do this stuff. You guys need to search this stuff up and see that there are people who do things and don't want to be seen. But I understand, because with that, the boastfulness, that the pride, that part of you that is seeking the eyes of many to view you in that perspective, it's important to not be seen doing good. It's crazy to even say that, but in a sense it's true. But I'm trying to kind of work around it and say, be mindful of doing good, not because you want to be seen as good. That's the point. You need to be good just because that's more important than being seen doing the good, because now someone will say, oh, what a nice man, what a nice woman. No. You need to do good, and that's it. Keep it pushing. Keep it pushing. Keep it moving. Do another thing. Do another thing. Do another. You do it unconsciously. You know what I'm saying? You do it unconsciously. You're not actively thinking, I'm going to do good right now for this person right here because it's the perfect opportunity. Just do anything that you see is necessary. Man, not stepping on an ant. I don't know. It's just random things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying, I think we really do need this in our communities, in our society, because, we need to gear up. This world is very interesting. Yeah, in a way it's frightening. In a way it's disheartening to know that there's people who actively work against good. But, it is what it is. I can't control those people. They've made their choices. They've chosen whose side that they are really on, and that's fine. Again, I'm not saying everybody's going to be receptive to the good, right? There are people who just have that bad in them that they just can't accept that there are people who are good, right? Um, and be mindful of that even in your own circles and people that you interact with, right? Because they might bring the worst out in you. And that's even just as dangerous as someone, showcasing to you something on Instagram and it stays in your psyche, and that ruins the flow of your day, the rhythm of your day, right? That's why it's very important. That's why everybody says in the morning, don't touch your phone. In your morning, try and get some sunlight, get your water in, do a little bit of exercising, pray, do your meditation, whatever you need to get right, to start it off, right? And avoid touching your phone and going through different social media, because chances are the first 4, 5, 6 videos might be all right, but the 8th to the 10th to the 11th might start showing you some stuff that are kind of crazy, right? We already know the over sexual, I can't say the word, sexual nature of these algorithms, because it's quick. It's a quick dopamine hit. You see someone doing something provocative in a sexual manner, you get entranced. You view it. You view another. You view another. And then in turn, your algorithm becomes based off of what you view. So yeah, all in all, I really do think people can be good. I really do think we can all hold each other accountable. And I really do believe that we need this seriously. So thank you for tuning in, and keep a lookout for the next videos I'll be posting. And thank you very much. So have a good day.